Hello everyone, thank you very much for clicking and for watching the video. Welcome to the free game collection, except it's not really the free game collection this week. It's the same time that I usually upload, but I haven't actually managed to go out searching for any games this week, so I've got nothing for the free game collection. Didn't get to any charity shops, and I went out Saturday night, so getting up Sunday morning in the state I was in to go to a car boot was just completely and utterly off the table. However, a couple of weeks ago, I ended one of my videos asking if anyone had any questions they'd like to ask me, because I wanted to do a Q&A video. Which gives me a perfect opportunity now in this free week to do just that. I've always wanted to do a Q&A because on my videos they're very much talking just about what I've picked up and traded them in and how we made it free, so I don't really have much opportunity to touch on many of the other topics, so I thought a Q&A would be absolutely fantastic, something a little bit different for the channel, and also mean I get to answer some questions which I probably have neglected to answer in the past. So I think I've had 24 questions in total, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. I didn't think I'd get that many, to be honest with you, so I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. But I do enjoy these videos, but sometimes they can be a bit long, can't they? So I've got all the questions written down here. I'm going to plow through them a little bit to try and make sure that the video isn't too long. So I've sort of reduced the questions down. I've sort of shortened them down, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to crack on and answer these questions. Again, thank you very much for everyone that's asked me a question, and I'm going to answer every single one as well. You took the time to ask them, so I'm going to make sure I take the time to answer them as well. So let's get cracking. So Meerkat720, what's your name, and can you recommend any Xbox 360 or Xbox One strategy games? Right, first of all, I'm going to start this off really weirdly for a Q&A. I'm not going to actually tell you what my personal name is, and I'm going to tell you why. So when I started doing this, for the first year, I suddenly realised that I had never actually told anyone on camera in any of the videos what my name is. I've also never ever said the name of the channel either. That was just done by sheer coincidence. I didn't realise I was doing it. But since then, I've purposely never ever said my name or the name of the channel. So I'm not going to do it now, just to sort of keep up the allure, as it was. Not that my name is special. A couple people know my name. And to be honest, if you look in the comments on most of my videos, somebody's calling me by my name. So by all means, take a look there and see what my name is. But just to keep it up, I'm not going to mention it. Just also because I like the videos and this channel to be about the games, about going out, the free game collection, finding the games, talking about games, chatting about games. I don't want my channel to be about me, and as long as I completely separate myself and I'm just the guy sitting behind the table, I think it just keeps my channel about what it should be about. And it's about gaming at the end of the day, isn't it? So I'm not going to say for that reason, but someone's bound to put it in the comments now on this video, aren't they? But my name's readily available to see. As for the suggestions, you actually listed a couple that you've already played, so I made a note to miss those out. I would say for the Xbox 360, XCOM Enemy Unknown, absolutely fantastic team game, strategy team shooter. Fantastic, give that a go, it's absolutely brilliant. Also Stellaris is quite a good one for the Xbox One. I think it's on PS4 as well, where you sort of take over a galaxy as a nation, as a galactic empire, so you have to sort of take over all the aliens. That's a fantastic, very in-depth, if you fancy an in-depth strategy game. Also Wasteland 3, any fans out there of the Fallout series? The Wasteland series is absolutely, there's Wasteland 2 as well, which is just as good, but they are absolutely fantastic games. You'll really enjoy those. And a bit of a random one, Project High Rise. You sort of have to just manage a building, so you go from managing a galaxy, you just want to manage a building where you're sort of like the super of a building and you have all different companies working for you. That's a very addictive strategy game. So those ones I can definitely give a suggestion for you to go have a go. On to Road again. What do you do for a living? I work in financial services. I basically work in marketing, and I'm sort of like a project lead. So it's not very exciting, to be honest with you, but it's a very large company. It pays the bills, yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a more exciting answer on that one, like an astronaut or a mortician or something. I don't know why I said mortician there. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? But yeah, I just work in financial services. That's what pays the bills. So sorry if that wasn't as exciting as you thought I might be doing in my day-to-day. Andy Zoot, who often comments, thank you very much for that. What do you do for a living? Sorry, I've grouped some of these questions together because some of them are quite similar. So what do you do for a living? Just now. And how do you balance the free game collection and kids? I don't really, to be honest with you, mate. The free game collection, so I do filming like this after work. I edit the videos while I'm sort of, again, at night time while I'm watching a film, sitting down and chilling out. I try and do things when people are out of the house, and I go to CEX when I'm out and about. I don't actually get up and go go to CEX, so I sort of build it in my day to day. And I've always said I never actively get up and go game hunting. I always just, if I drive past a charity shop, I'll pop in. And it's simple as that. As far as the car boots go, I go at about 6 in the morning and get back for 8, by which time everyone in my house is asleep. So I really just build the free game collection around my day to day and just fit it into the free time. Because again, the second part of your question, the kids just take up they just consume your life, don't they? Absolutely love them, but you know, they take priority over everything. So whenever they allow me to do something, that's when I try to fit in the free game collection and all the other hobbies that I have. So yeah, I struggle, mate. I struggle. It's a ever-going battle, that one. The Game Dad, who's got a new channel, absolutely fantastic. Give him a view. Puts a lot of time and effort, and you can really tell in the quality of his videos. Absolutely fantastic. Where's your accent from? And am I ever going to get a Switch 2, or will I now look at a Switch now the Switch 2 is coming out? My accent, I'm from the Midlands. I'm originally from Coventry. So people often say that Coventry people don't have much of an accent. It's a very generic Midlands accent, especially when you consider we got Birmingham and Dudley and Wolverhampton and Leicester all around us, Leamington, you know, all of those are very strong accents. I'm just from Coventry, really, so that's where the accent comes from. And as for the Switch 2, I'm putting some thought into it. I've looked at the what they released as to the details of it. I like the backwards compatibility. I'm not completely overwhelmed by the rest of it, to be honest. As for the other Switch, like picking up the older Switch and collecting for that, I think as the Switch 2 comes out, a lot of people will trade in their Switches and look to get rid of them and move over to the Switch 2. So that might be the perfect time for me to strike and pick up a cheap Switch and start collecting that way. So I am keeping an eye on it, but I'm still yet to decide how I'm going to go about that. Big Charles 22, where are you? When are you visiting the West Midlands? It's the best place for Xbox One and PS4 bargains. Well, as I say, I'm from the West Midlands. I live around the West Midlands, so I'm here frequently, and I agree with you. There does seem to be like a golden belt that travels through the UK, because I've noticed from looking at a lot of other YouTubers, especially those down south, because there's quite a few YouTubers from the London area, what you get charged in charity shops and things is a lot higher than what we have around here, and up north as well, oddly. I seem to notice that you guys are paying a lot more as well. There does seem to be this sort of, through the Midlands, it does seem to be a little bit cheaper. So I do kind of agree with that statement, because I sort of watch that and think, God, you're not paying a lot, especially for Xbox One and PS2, but Xbox One and PS4. But I've noticed that we pay a little less for PS2 and things as well over here, excluding CEX, because it's the same everywhere. But yeah, I do agree. It does seem to be a little bit cheaper in the Midlands. I don't know why, but yeah, I've noticed that myself. Planet Harriers, my favourite arcade game and my favourite tipple/pint of choice. Well, that's easy, the first one. I'm a Guinness man, love a pint of Guinness. If we're going for a bit harder, I like a bit of Jack Daniels, so that's me. Well, my favourite arcade game, straight away what comes to mind, is House of the Dead. When I was younger, I absolutely loved playing House of the Dead. You run into the arcade and you had the guns, and it was the only time I'd get the opportunity to play like a light gun game, because I didn't have that set up in my home growing up. So yeah, House of the Dead for me, House of the Dead 2, I think it was, really. Absolutely, I would always go and spend my, I think it was 50p back in the day, wasn't it? Or £1 max. I'd always go drop all my money into the house. I wasn't very good at it, but by far that's my favourite arcade game, easily. Wayne at Wayne's World of Gaming, another fantastic channel. I'm sure most of you are already watching. Would you rather have fingers for toes or toes for fingers? I thought about this. I'd rather have fingers for toes, because I've seen a lot of gammy feet out there, and I've seen people that basically got fingers for toes, like way too many knuckles and way too long. You can hide them in socks and shoes, can't you? But if you got toes on your hand, you ain't hiding your little digits day to day, are you? So cheers for that question, Wayne. Very very insightful, thank you. Anand Thakrar 121. Do you think PS4 and PS5 games will rise in price like PS3 and retro games, or be less valuable due to the digital and Game Pass? That's a proper question, isn't it? I think it will be complete. I think the Xbox 360 and the PS3 is the last golden generation for collecting. After that, you get into your Xbox One, PS4, and that's when the digital market really kicks in. So people before that, you can aim for that complete set. And also people of that generation had physical releases. So we go for physical releases. When you get to that generation, that because the thing is, games always drop in price as the new generations come out. It's not until the people that had those games start to hit their late 30s, 40s, and they've got disposable income, that's when they start to claw back their games. That's when they want to get it back for nostalgia. nostalgia. And you see that by, you can see the prices of the PS2 and you've got the SNES, they rise with people's age. So I think it will be different because those people will not be looking for physical copies like people of my age are. They will be more more susceptible to just collecting them digitally, and they'll probably have it a much, you've seen the rate of technology, it'll probably be easier for them. I think it'll be completely, I think we'll get to a point where once the retro gamers like ourselves have done our fill and we're old and go much older in life, people might just start walking around with 1,000 terabyte hard drives and just downloading the games they want from people, and just your collection will just be a big terabyte hard drive jobby that they just plug into whatever the technology is and they're off. So I think it's going to be completely different. I don't think they will be as expensive as the retro games are now, but I'm more than likely going to be proven wrong with that. Good question, that one. Good one. Zelda's Sword Juice, love that name. Best advice for doing well at car boots. I looked at this one and I could do a whole hour-long video on how to do car boots, but I'm just going to be completely honest with you and just summarise it too. Don't hate the player, hate the game with this one. Car booting is more and more competitive when it comes to gaming, and I always see people say that when they struggle with car boots, it's because of other people. Yes, other people make it more challenging, but if you're not getting up and getting there early, if you're not really putting the effort into finding and competing with these people to find the games, you're going to struggle with it more and more, because these people are just playing the game. You've got to get, you're going to lose, 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 win, 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 lose, 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 win, win, and it's going to carry on. You've just got to keep going at it, and you've got to put yourself in that position to be there to find these games at car boots. And I know I hate the way it's gone now with how competitive it is at car boots. When I started, there was no competition, but I have to say, it's just, there's no point complaining that other people are getting there first and doing it and complaining about them. Forget them, put them aside, they ain't impacting you. Get out, have a go, put yourself in the best position you can at car boots to succeed at them. And honestly, I can summarise a lot of advice just coming down to that. You just got to give it. And I'm not a massive fan of that, to be honest, but it's true. It really is true. That's why I get up so early and I go and I rush around. I do the best I can just to make sure that, you know, I'm there for when the games come out. But that's the single best bit of advice I could break it down for you, mate. Cameron Holiday 2819, that's the footballer. He comments on a lot of videos, thank you. What have I been playing recently? For the last month, I've been playing NBA 25, absolutely love that game. WWE 25, I've been playing the GM mode on that one, really enjoyed that. I'm pretty much ready to trade that in now, by the way. Civ 7, I destroyed that and traded that back in and got the WWE 25, made a video on that one. I've also played This War of Mine. That's a good game. But we picked that up last year. That's dirt cheap. That's a really good game. I really enjoyed that. And with Hand of Fate 2, I downloaded that for dirt cheap. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons game, like an RPG. You sort of, it's like a bit of chance. It's like a card game, but then there's RPG elements on top. Really good. If you can get a go on that. There's a Hand of Fate 1 as well, which is a bit cheaper. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that. So that's what I've been playing for about the last month, to be honest. Retrohead, another fantastic YouTuber. The number one game you don't have, which you would like to have. I put some thought this. There's many, 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 many games I would like to have, but I kept coming back to one which I've always wanted because I never played it. The PT trailer, that Silent Hill trailer that came out years ago, and then they just removed it from the store and you can't get any more. I don't know if that class is because it's not really a game, but I've always seen videos of that. I've always wanted to give it a go because I love horror. And I wish, and I know now if you've got it downloaded on your, I think it was the PS3 era, if you, maybe PS4, I'm not sure, but if you've got that, your console's worth a fortune. I would love to have that, just be able to give it a go, but I don't think I'll ever, ever, ever get hold of it because of how much people charge for it. But yeah, I kept coming back in my head that PT trailer is the one thing. A physical game, if I'm going to answer one, I'd really like Quan. People pronounce it differently, Quan. I just really like to own that game, to be honest with you, but again, I'm not going to pay that price for it. So yeah, that's one. So these two questions were very similar. Adrian Turner 4365 asks the greatest find in a charity shop and a car boot, and then XX Emma XX 1993 said the top 3 car boot pickups and fails. So the first one, Adrian, from a charity shop, the best one that always comes about, there's two really. I walked in one day and I got my Silent Hill 2 and 3. I paid like 20 pence each for those at a charity shop. So I remember those because I was after them for ages. And then I got them from a charity shop, which is brilliant. So but you remember COVID, obviously you remember COVID. Remember when they locked us down, then they let us out for a little bit before they locked us back down again in the early days. That bit in the middle, there was a charity shop around the corner from me that sort of just like redid all their stuff. And they just boxed everything and relayed everything. I went in just the right time and said, do you have any games? And there was literally a box of games sitting there while they waited to put them on the shelves. I opened it up and it was a proper box full of Nintendo first party games, Wii games, 3DS, DS, 360. It was chock-a-block. It was absolutely, most of the Nintendo games I actually have in my collection came from that single pick up all that time ago. I think I paid like £5 or £10 for it. It's like one game, got all my money back. I ended up getting hundreds of pounds back in voucher and adding fantastic games to my collection as well. So that always stands out to me as the best. It was before I started doing the YouTube thing, obviously. But that always stands out to me as a fantastic find. For the other one, so the top three, so the wins was, I've said this before, I got Silent Hill and Pokemon Yellow for 20 pence back in the day. That's when I suddenly clocked that, hang on a second, I can buy all my old games back for tuppence, which is what started all this. If I hadn't picked those up, I probably wouldn't even collect games anymore. So that was always a really important one for me. Something away from game collecting, because you do ask the best car boot pickups. I once bought a bag that was at a car boot and it was full of all sorts of bits, and there were some gold rings in there which I made a pretty penny from. I thought it was costume jewelry when I first got them all. But yeah, that was, it's not game related, I know, but as far as finding something from a profit, finding literally a piece of treasure, and I didn't find them in there for like days after as well. It was brilliant. But yeah, so I found gold. I literally struck gold at one car boot, so that was absolutely fantastic. Many years ago that was. The other one, now I wouldn't believe me, to be honest, when I tell you this. I wish I had it on camera, but I once bought a PS4 for £1. I went to a car boot, it was near the end, there was a lady with a pasting table and she was cropping up her pasting table with something that looked suspicious. I looked at it and it was a black PS4. I said, can I have a look at that? She literally removed it from under the pasting table, went wobbly afterwards. I said, how much? She goes, it doesn't work. I was like, okay, what's wrong with it? She goes, it needs to be hard reset. It needs to be factory reset. It doesn't work anymore. I was like, okay, how much? And she's like, it doesn't work. I was like, that's fine. How much? She goes, £1. I was like, okay, I'll just buy it for £1. I'll have a go for £1. She then gave me the controller for it as well. So I was already quids in, because this was years ago as well. Took it home. She was right. It did need to be reset. I got my phone. I followed some instructions for like 20 minutes, reset this console using an app, and it worked absolutely fine. So I got a working PS4 for £1. I know, it's absolutely shocking. Took it into CEX and I traded it in for like, I think it was like £160 voucher at the time or something, but I did once buy a working PS4 with controller for £1 coin. It was absolutely amazing. I love that. Biggest fails, the Disney basketball game on the GameCube last year, that's doing my head in. I miss things all the time, but that one's particularly annoying because it would have been one of the most valuable games I ever picked up, and the worst thing was I had it in my hand, I looked at it and put it down and thought no, because I didn't know any better. So that's annoying because I should have known better and I should have bought it anyway for the £2-3 they were asking, just because it was a GameCube game. So that one still hurts. Also, last year as well, I picked up all those headphones. Remember, I got those headphones. I got like 10 of them for £10 or something. That was really disappointing because none of them worked. They all went in the bin, by the way. None of them work. But the thing that was disappointing, that's fine. They don't work. But in my head, I figured out that I was going to get like £200 voucher back off it. And I was going to go out and buy some really rare retro games. And when they all didn't work, I was really gutted by that. So yeah, that always felt like a big fail. But the other one, back in the day, like I mentioned, when nobody was collecting, I remember that I went to a car boot and there was a huge box of PS1 games. Now back then, CEX didn't take retro games. There was also no market hardly for it on eBay or anything. So I was literally just buying games that I wanted because they were dirt cheap. And I remember that box, there was Metal Gears in there was Crash Bandicoots in there. That I remember there was a copy of Nightmare Creatures in there, which I just left. But she was trying to just give me them. I think she wanted like £5 or £10 for this whole, but there must have been over like 150 PS1 games in there. And I just said no, because there was no competition for them back then. I weren't doing it the way I am now. I just bought the games that I wanted. So that always, I'd sit there sometimes and think of how much I could have got out of that. So that's a big fail. So that's a big, there's a lot of answer to that one. Thank you for that question. But yeah, that still guts me to this day that it was just a different world back then. It was just completely different. Clizzle19 and Realist Gamer asked the same question here. Who do I watch that does similar videos? And then, so that's what they both ask. And then, do I let the kids in the game room? Clizzle, no, the kids don't even know this is up here. I ain't letting them in here with their grubby little hands. They can come up here when they're old enough to appreciate it and look after things, but they don't even know this world exists. So no, the kids don't come up anywhere near. Who do I watch? I watch quite a few. I go through bouts of watching certain people at certain times. I like Mitch over at Retro Room. I always learn something from Mitch. He always covers a lot of things. I like how his videos are structured, and he's always positive. I like positive channels. If I can watch a video and it's just about the good side of things and game collecting, you learn stuff. I like those sort of videos, but I can't list all the people I watch. I like to just sort of play. So you play one video, it just rolls on and shows you things. So I do end up watching quite a few people, but then there's videos and people that I don't watch that a lot of people do. So yeah, everyone's different, aren't they? But yeah, I watch quite a few, to be honest with you. Sam Smith 2490, what top 3 games are you looking to add this year? Well, Civ 7 was one. I've done that one. I'm also keeping an eye on GTA 6, obviously, because that would be absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, they're the only two. I'd like to add 1 or 2 of the Pokemon games as well, I think. I'm not really on top of adding them as much because, like I say, I've already collected all the ones that I wanted to collect from my childhood. So now it really is sort of spur of the moment what I want to add at the minute. But those 2 and a third, I'm keeping an eye on. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to go just yet, to be honest with you, Sam. Forever Westbound, the best advice for saving money on collecting when there's no deals around. There's always deals around somewhere. I know where you're coming from, mate, because it's, like I said, it's just getting ridiculous now. But the best thing you can do is just scour Facebook Marketplace. Vinted's pretty good. It's hard to get deals on eBay these days. CEX is CEX. You always roll the dice on that one. But if you let people know that you're a collector, I always find helps, because family and friends, you'd be amazed how many people get offered games but just ignore them because they don't think anyone wants them. So just make sure friends and family know that you're after them, and just keep scouring, mate. It's hard. It's hard. Car boots, if you're lucky enough to have a car boot, obviously they're absolutely fantastic, but it is getting more and more difficult, mate. All I'd say is every day or so, just have a quick scour of Vinted, have a look on Facebook, don't pay too much time, get to car boots when you can. Always visit charity shops. You might go there 20 times and find nothing, but the 21st time you might find something, mate. But yeah, I know where you're coming from with that one. It's just getting more and more difficult, isn't it? Realist Gamer again, another friend of the channel, Ed. Sorry. Oh, similar question. When are you getting a Switch? So I'm trying, mate. I'm on it. I will get to it at some point in time. Like I say, I've just finished getting the retro side of things, so I'm going to move on to that shortly. Hume Loons. What do I think about gaming markets, and what's my most expensive item? I think the most expensive item is probably this Rule of Rose still. I picked that up last year. I think that's still floating around the £300 jobby. So that's definitely the single most expensive item. Gaming markets, they are overpriced. If you're used to going to CEX and paying CEX prices, you're going to be shocked at gaming markets. For me, a gaming market is nice to go out with friends. It's a nice time out to go around, look at the rarer stuff. If you're after rarer items, gaming markets are great, but you are going to be paying a premium at them. You get to speak to like-minded people as well, which is fantastic. But as far as using gaming markets to add to your collection, just be aware before you get there. If you go to them often, you know this, but don't be going there expecting to be paying CEX prices. Also, I think some people think it's easy to negotiate there. Some will, some won't. So it swings and roundabouts with that. But I do like gaming markets. It's a good time out with mates and what have you, and to walk around, and it's great. But collecting wise, just temper your expectations a little bit is all I'd say. Saying that, I'm going to one soon. But again, I'm going for the day out and just to have a look around. I'm not expecting to walk away with anything amazing. So that's what we got there. Jose Jacob UK, tempted by any subsets but put off by its price or rarity. Yeah, so end of 2023 when I spent all my voucher, I was looking to get some more horror on the PS2. At that point in time, I decided that I was going to get the Siren series, these two and the one on PS3, Blood Curse, and I decided not to get the Project Zero series at that point in time. I was just going to get the one. Big mistake. I should have just gone and got the Project Zero series there and then on the PS2, because literally once I bought them in like December, January, the price just started to get horrific on them. Literally, some of the Siren series have like over tripled in price. It's horrendous. I do have Project Zero 1 and 2 on the OG Xbox, but you can't get 3 on the OG. It has to be a PS2. So I would have loved to have had the full 3 set on PS2, but I'm not paying it. So yeah, that's a subset I'd love to have, but yeah, I missed out on that one. I should have took my own advice and just bought it at the time. I'd also like all the Pokemon games, which would be absolutely fantastic. But again, they're expensive, aren't they? Bricks and Gaming, top Xbox 360 game I want. I would really like Spider-Man. Is it Shattered Dimension, is it? Web of Shadows as well, those two rare ones. I think they're the only two Spider-Man games I haven't got. And I've always struggled to find the Spider-Man games on the Xbox 360. So I would like those two games at some point in time. They seem to have stagnated in price at the moment, so they may start to drop a little bit. But I do need to get hold of them. I just really like to find them out and about. Because like I said, I think they're like 60 odd quid at the minute, which is a bit. And I've got Web of Shadows on the PS3 as well. So, but yeah, I'd like to have those. Legend Killer 2K. Do you stick to one car boot? Well, unfortunately, these days, I ain't got much option, to be honest, mate. There used to be 3 back in the day. I had an indoor car boot that was my favourite, which is where I found most of the really good ones, because there was no competition back in those days. So I associate that with like the golden years, the great car boot. That got closed down due to COVID, unfortunately. Never opened back up again. There's one just on the outskirts of Birmingham, which is a very big one, but I did go there for some of the free game collection, but I haven't been there all of last year because it's a bit aggressive. It's not a nice, there's always fights kicking off and people arguing, and it's just not a nice place to be. And I enjoy going to the car boots, and it's really started to get me down when I went to it, so I don't go there anymore, which leaves me with the one that I go to. And to be fair, that's the one I've been going to since I was about 10-year-old, so it does feel very comfortable to me. So unfortunately, yeah, I only go to the one because that's my only option these days, mate, to be fair, and I'm lucky to have that one, so I ain't complaining. Luke Davidson 983, have you ever collected other physical media like Blu-rays? So I used to live in Leicester and for university, and I collected DVDs back in the day. This is when I used to get, so I found out I've been going to CEX for over 18 years. When I did that, I thought CEX was like an independent store. I didn't realise it was a chain. So I used to go in there like 3 or 4 times a week just to buy DVDs. Gaming wasn't a thing for me at all back then. I had no games, and it was like, they only sold the modern stuff at the time. It was like 360 and PS3. So yes, I used to collect DVDs from CEX, and I used to have a massive collection. I had like over 1,000 DVDs, which I've moved on now. I don't have space for them. Gaming took over. I haven't collected any other things since. I like to collect some of the old CDs, if anyone's old enough to remember those from back in my childhood. So I still pick those up every now and then. I've got a little CD collection. But yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest, mate. Marshall Projects, who is a friend of mine off YouTube, has asked a bit of an insight. Favourite Night Squad character, and is it true I never won? So just so you know, I used to, friends used to come round once a week, and we used to sit and play games. And all the games to select from, all we ever played was Worms, FIFA, and a game called Night Squad. Night Squad is a top-down like battle royale game, which like one-hit kills. Really fun to play as a co-op, like a couch co-op. It was so fun. I was always the Blue Knight, so Blue's my favourite character. And is it true I never won? That's just inside, because I'm just going to say this now. I am amazing at Night Squad. Like, I stopped playing online. Seriously, I was too good. Nobody could beat me. I am going to put it out there that I am probably one of the best Night Squad players in the world. It's a very small little indie game. Not many people play it these days. But yeah, so no, it's not true. I'm absolutely amazing at it. You know I am. Yeah, there you go. And that is it. I had then one question on Vinted, which I do apologise. I haven't wrote down the name of the person that asked me this, but on Vinted, somebody asked me, why don't you put everything on Vinted first? I would buy loads of your stuff that you take to CEX. Thank you very much. Now, if I was just selling on Vinted to other game collectors, I probably would, because game collectors that collect, they know about condition, they appreciate the age of things. Unfortunately, and this is why I don't do eBay anymore, unfortunately there's a lot of people out there that dip their toes in this sort of stuff, and when you give them a game that's 20, 30 years old and there's a scratch on it, they get very angry about these sort of things. So I only put stuff on Vinted if I just say, if anyone anywhere buys it with no knowledge of games whatsoever or condition, it has to be spot on. It has to be pretty much perfect, so that if there is any challenge, I know that I can honestly sit here and know that what I sent out was as close to mint as long as if I received it, I would just look at it straight away and go perfect, and just not straight away 5 stars feedback, fantastic, then I'll put it on Vinted. I can't take the risk with putting everything on there because you know, there's all sorts of people out there, and they'll try anything they can to get out of paying you on Vinted. But I know sometimes some people watch me take things into CEX for a couple quid, and I could put it on Vinted for a little bit more, and I get that, but it's just the way I do things. I like my game collecting to be as stress-free as possible, to be honest with you, and bringing the internet into it can sometimes make that a bit more difficult. I always know when I'm selling to subscribers as well, because they're absolutely fantastic and they know the crack exactly. Anyone not and just sort of dipping their toe and buying it as presents, they can often be a bit funny. And that is it. That is I think I've rocketed through those, to be fair. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very, very much to everyone that asked me 24 questions. That's brilliant. That's made my day, that has. If anyone wants to put in comments now any additional questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Anyone got any follow-up questions to anything I've just spoke about, please put them down there. I'll always try to reply. Well, I think I've always replied to every comment. But yeah, by all means, if you've got anything else in the comments, I'll be very grateful, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions. Yeah, I hope that's gave a little bit more of an insight as to the person behind the desk, which I don't usually get to touch on. I quite enjoyed that, actually. I feel like I have been talking for a very, very long time, so I'm gonna stop there. Hopefully the free game collection will come back next week. I will get out and go to the car boot, so fingers crossed. I'm gonna find lots and lots of things. So yeah, hope to see you then. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. Take care of yourselves.